Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Secret Agent Briefing for X Monthly. My name is Jeffrey DiMaria, and I'm thankful to have you here. We've invited Shannon Mullins to join us today. She's a Dynamics Business Central MVP, CEO of a BC consulting group and BC app maker. Really thankful to have Shannon join us on today's call. Shannon, you're on mute. Thank you for taking time. I know you're at a event here in Texas today. Taking a little break for us.
I am at the IMCP Illuminate event. Yep.
It's awesome. I love watching you travel, sharing insights, really helping the community embrace Business Central. So I think we're really blessed to have you here. I'm excited to see you next month at Directions. That's going to be a big thing for us, and excited to have you here and helping support. At X Monthly, that we're a new company. We're launching this quarter. So everyone on this call, thank you for your patience as we've developed a lot of great information, great framework to get things started here. We help enable the Microsoft Cloud for partners and clients. We support partners with a general session for an event called a Microsoft CSP briefing. That's something that we help our partners engage with their clients with. It's always open. We also work with agents to help share their insights. In this quarter, we have an agent promo. We want to help create your buy buttons, help generate business for you, establish an ecosystem where we can leverage each other to help deliver the full Microsoft Cloud. One thing I think is really interesting, one thing I like about Shannon is we had one of our new agents on board. They had some expertise with GPSL. They're getting into Business Central, and they had some questions, some highly technical questions that, to be honest, we probably need to have an MVP or a highly skilled consultant to kind of work through those questions. So Shannon, our relationship goes back several years. And, I really appreciate you being able to kind of lean in and help support agents as they get started, as they start learning about Business Central and building up their system. You're involved with a lot of the BC talent development. Can you share a little bit about that? Opportunities for partners to get engaged, what you're doing to help, educate the community, resources to really help show what you're doing. It's exciting.
Yeah. So I got asked by Microsoft about a year ago. Feels like a little bit over a year ago. Kurt had reached out to me and asked if I would help teach the Reskill program. So training partners, GP partners specifically on how to implement Business Central. So we've been running 4-day classes, 2 days of implementation training, and then 2 days of core power user transactional training to get people up and running on at least the core financial pieces of Business Central and get them a leg up and get started. So it's pretty exciting. I know I'm going to be there at Directions helping them with part of the event, not the whole event this year, but we have upcoming classes. So that's all done through a variety of folks working on that project. But they just bring me in and they have the class ready to go. So I've trained some pretty big GP partners like Winsoft and implementation specialists and lots so far. And I'm still working with a lot of the GP partners. So it's been pretty exciting. When I started 7 years ago, I had no BC experience, no NAV experience. I came from GP and nobody was willing to help me. Like I had no help. I had to actually go out and like self-teach myself Business Central, learn through implementations, learn through, it was quite a struggle. And so it's really kind of cool to pay it back and like help people who are starting this journey.
Yeah, I mean, I like that program a lot. The BC Talent one, really cross skill, upskill resources to help take advantage of these, not take advantage, but just to help clients with their
Yeah.
financial management.
Yeah.
It's funny, as a new business, we're setting up Business Central ourselves, right? And it's funny just getting into the intricacies of it, trying to learn the solution. Microsoft has a lot of really great free resources out there for learning. With your engagements, what's kind of like the, I don't know, the cadence? Like what when people sign up and they start learning about Business Central, wanting to be a functional consultant with you, what's that whole learning journey kind of look like for them if they want to go
Yeah.
on that?
Yeah, so I'm actually just doing obviously the Microsoft Reskill classes, so teaching that from Microsoft. I also do private training for partners, and we kind of follow the same 4 day syllabus. And so 2 days of that is core implementation training. So we start out with like how to configure environments, how to spin up licensing, I go over how to order licensing. Of course, that's different with every CSP that you may join. I go over, the basics of starting up with security and permissions and users, and there's a lot of core foundational stuff. And then we get into the setup of finance and sales and purchasing, and there's a lot just to that. So 2 full days of training on just those pieces, getting the system up and running, and data migration. Of course, we talk about that and beginning balances, and then once we get past that part, then we start training the users on how to transact, how to create journal entries, how to create sales invoices, how to create purchase orders, so that as they're going to train their customers, they actually know what they're doing. And of course, we don't get into anything like manufacturing or distribution because we just don't have enough time in a 4 day block of time. But I think it gives everyone enough to have the confidence to get started or to at least sell their first project. And then I think, you just kind of got to work through these first few projects. So it's really great. Like I said, we're working through a lot of partners. Had a lot reach out with like just a couple questions. That's something else, I promised Microsoft I would do, or promised my clients that I would do, that I'm helping privately, and just be like, hey, if you run into an issue or you have a question. And so Sharon Paul, she's a great example. She's always messaging me on Teams and being like, hey, what about this or this or this, and I'm like, okay, this is how you handle it. So I don't just leave them, at that point. But I will say this is interesting, Jeff, because a lot of people come to me and they say, okay, if I take this class, will I pass the MBA 800? And the answer is no. I don't recommend taking the MBA 800 until you've done some implementations, because it's not going to make sense, at least to me. When I took the MBA 800, I've been doing this a long time, and it was just like muscle memory, right? Like it was not hard at all. But I've been doing the implementations, right? And I've been involved in them. And so for me, it was not difficult. And so I'm like, okay, get this class, get started, start working on some implementations. Once you've done those and you got your hands dirty, it's going to be an easier test to pass, because you're going to understand what those questions are.
It's funny. I've been following the MVPs forever, right? That's what you're here
Mhm.
for, right? There's one on the CRM side. They're just screaming adoption, right? And it's like, you with your learning curve right there. It's like don't waste your time on the 800 until you've actually learned to use it and adopting the solution and making that happen. So
Yeah.
I think adoption's a key. Uh, it's key across the whole platform beyond Business Central.
Yeah.
Are you finding conversations just with the new technology, generative AI, co-pilot, solving problems, outcomes? What's really driving a lot of your
Um,
conversations today?
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Microsoft is like 5 steps ahead of everybody. So Microsoft M365 Copilot, yes, having lots of conversations with customers, right? They're interested that we use that one internally. My whole team has a license. Love that Copilot because of all the team's functionality, and it builds PowerPoints for you and summarizes emails. It's great. The technology that the accountants are looking for, they're not really looking too much for that technology, to be honest with you. I mean, I would feel like most of the customers we're talking to are still on-prem, so they're still going through digital transformation.
Mhm.
They're still trying to get to a point where they're in the cloud. And so, no, not a single one of them has asked me about AI or generative AI or any of it. They just want to get to a state where they're in a better accounting status, they have better reporting, they have more automation in their processes. And so we use Power Automate, and a lot of that to do that anyway. So we've been doing AI automation with Power Automate and Flow for years now. Um, but it's not, I think it's less common in the accounting space just because of the fear of, a lot of our customers are very big. They have audits, they have audit trails, they have logs. So the fact that, an agent would be processing accounting transactions, I think is going to be a hard sell for Microsoft on the accounting side. That's between you and I. Um, they want more automation, right? It's got to be under control and they have to understand what it's doing and have change logs. So, but yeah, we are getting a lot of new features, by the way, for Business Central. I think Microsoft has released a sales order agent, right? That one is already released for Business Central where it can read quotes and then or requests for quotes essentially, and then send out a quote from Business Central. So great for people who do quoting in BC. Not all my customers do that. But then we're also seeing those kind of agents in the CRM side. We sell a lot of BC with CRM because they
Mhm.
hook up together. So you're seeing a lot of agents on that side. I use the Copilot for Sales or Sales Copilot. There's so many Copilots, um, whatever one it is. And then every time the customer emails me or the prospect emails me, of course, I tag their contact. Then the Copilot is sitting there in Outlook telling me like, hey, do you want to do this? Or do you want to follow up? Or do you want to add a note? And I'm like, okay, this is actually really nice. So there's going to be a lot of useful functionalities. There's going to be some functionality that I think is going to be a little harder for customers to adopt. Um, we'll see, because I work with accountants, I have a different perspective because I know how their minds work. And right now they just want to get their month end close done and get their reporting done.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hope I'm not taking you away from that. I know you help so many people.
Absolutely not.
Um, so obviously Business Central is a great application, ERP, a lot of investment with it. The AI stuff still going to get there. I think it's
Yeah.
interesting. You
Yeah.
mentioned a lot of on-prem clients.
Yeah.
Are you having the Microsoft discussion with them, the Microsoft 365, and that's bleeding into your Automate discussions? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people who are coming to us, well, number one, they know Microsoft's discontinuing GP or NAV or SL. We're actually working on three different product migrations right now. One is a NAV to BC, one's an SL to BC, and one's a GP to BC, all simultaneously. And all of them came to us saying, hey, we know we need to move, right? Like we know this is what needs to happen. And of course, they're looking at it from do we actually leave Dynamics and look at other products, or do we stay with Dynamics? And of course, for us, the sell is, hey, this works with your Microsoft stack. Like this is an add-on product from an IT perspective. Super easy to manage, super easy to send licensing and permissions, works with Azure Security. Like it's great, right? And it's an easy sell. And it's a very easy sell for these on-prem customers who are already Dynamics, especially because the Bridge to Cloud 2 program is still in place until the end of the year. And
Yeah.
that's 40% off licensing, right? So 40% off if they can agree to a 3-year commitment. They don't have to pay the 3 years up front, but they do have to agree to 3 years. With that, then all of a sudden they're switching over. So now you've got a software that's less than QuickBooks and it's much easier sell with the bridge to cloud. I will say that.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think they know they need to do it. I think the biggest thing is making sure that they're not leaving the Microsoft space when they make that
Yeah.
choice. And so that's become harder and harder. We are seeing a lot of customers do kind of like product shopping as they're making this move. So we don't know if we're sure we want to stay with Dynamics. Maybe we want to go with something else. So now we're competing with NetSuite and Acumatica and Intact. So uh, there's a lot of that going on too.
Yeah. I've been thinking about just protecting the base for years, right? And it's like, we got to have a conversation with them. Who's having the conversation, right? Are
Yeah.
you having it, the partner? Are you driving the conversation, or is someone else coming in and telling a different story? So,
Yeah, we've been trying to tell, anyone I work with on the GP side. And of course, I don't support a lot of GP customers anymore. I have just a few that we've done some very small Power Automate projects for, but I try to stay out of GP as much as possible these days, just because we're so much BC work. But I think the biggest thing is the partners. For a long time, we're avoiding those conversations with these customers, right? Or just telling them like, "Hey, GP is never going to die; it's going to be around forever." And it was a lot of mixed messaging. And I think what happened was, NetSuite got a hold of this, Intact got a hold of this, Acumatica. And so then they're doing cold call outreach to GP leads from the lead list that they're getting and going, "Hey, Microsoft's discontinuing your product." And of course, the CIOs are freaking out, going, "Okay, we should probably move." And then the partner's like, "No, it's not being discontinued." Well, if I was an executive and someone was telling me that, I'm going to believe like I'm not going to believe my partner if they're telling me GP will never die. So I think, you have to be honest with these customers and be like, "Hey, you don't need to move tomorrow, but you really need to start thinking about moving now." And that's one of the biggest things. Mariano and I did a webinar last week. It was a repeat webinar, but we were really talking about timing, right? And I'm like, 2030, like it seems so far away. It's not far away at all. Like in
right?
in the scheme, most of these implementations, especially the bigger customers, you're looking at 6 months to 12 months, and that's when you get started, right? And then you have the whole planning and design and all of that. And so if you wait until 2029, or these customers wait till 2029, the backlog is going to be so big, it's going to be like crazy. I just start making plans now is what I tell them. So it's as a partner, it's a really good conversation to have with these customers and be like, "Hey, the cloud is more secure. You're going to be upgraded all the time. You're going to be current. You get all these features like AI and Copilot and Power Automate for free. And
Right.
why not make this move now? It's no time is better than right now."
So that's what we're trying to do with our partners, right? We're doing the CSP briefing to talk about the Microsoft stuff. We want partners to own the dynamic stuff, or it could be any application actually. We actually went to an Acumatica summit. We're thinking about going to Sweet World. We're thinking about the other ERP applications out there because we're helping with the Microsoft side, right? So
Yeah.
that's a conversation to help drive that conversation and working with partners. Now, oh my gosh, you do so many cool things. Like I want to know more about the BC app maker business. Like,
Yeah. Well, I've been working with my developer for a long time, and he's also a Microsoft MVP, and we have started coming up with ideas of apps over the years, of things that would just make things easier for folks. One of the biggest things I always thought was, okay, well, when I become a partner, a CSP partner, I'm not going to intermix any apps that I would make with my CSP, because you're a partner on one side and then on the other side, you're an ISV. And those lines can get really blurry in the dynamic space pretty quickly. And
yeah.
so, we thought about these apps that are like easy for customers to go download, easy for customers to go self-service. And
Mhm.
most of our apps well, all the apps we've created so far are self-service. And we've got a lot more ideas out there. And so we're slowly rolling these out. We just got our second app published, which is really exciting. That
Cool.
second app does auto lot number generation. So for manufacturers who need to generate lot numbers on demand for production orders, assembly orders, purchase receipts, it actually will do all the lot numbering for you, which BC does not do that. Um, so it's great. And
Mhm.
then we also have one out there that does AP write-offs, AR write-offs, and AR and AP applying. So if people have like huge AP or huge AR to clean up within a few seconds, they can clean up all of that, which is really cool. So we have a lot of different tools that we're coming up with, tools that we're creating, and I think it'll be really good.
Cool. Now the
Yeah,
self-service, that's huge. I know it takes a little bit of time to get those capabilities, but
yeah.
that's the intent. So we'll get there. Now, one other quick thing. Oh my gosh, BC opportunities. I saw this past month. I actually logged it. I was like, this one's important for Dynamics partners, right? Um, are the did I read it right? The assessments, the migration assessments, are those did those basically sell out? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea, but we've never used any Microsoft tooling to do these conversions, so I have no
Okay.
clue. Yeah.
All right.
We're a fresh start partner, so we really focus on data cleanup and redesign of kind of how their processes are working. Like I said, we use a lot of Power Automate.
Yep.
So we don't do any BC quick analysis, quick studies. We actually try to do a full design and discovery with these customers and,
Yep.
what are your pain points? How do we make it better? That leads to a better experience. It leads to a longer lasting customer. These quick and easy migrations have not gone so well for these partners, and we've actually rescued a lot of these customers back and help them out post go live. So I would just caution people to be very careful about the quick and easy. I call it the quick and easy dirty implementations. It's not a yeah.
Wow.
Be
No,
careful.
that's
Yeah.
be careful. No, that makes sense. All right. So oh my gosh, you have so many cool things. It's interesting because we're launching, we're preaching the story, we're trying to integrate with partners and different organizations. Some of the things that we're doing, we've been building furiously for the past 2 months. And we take an opportunity to kind of help our partners learn and what we're doing, what we're trying to provide to the community. We had Sam Bush on here last week with our marketing mix. We have on our second Tuesday our secret agent briefings. Third Wednesday, we have our CSP briefings for clients, and then a whole bunch of messaging in between. We get that it's a lot. We know it's a lot of information, but from our marketing side, we're really strong on how we're doing this. And we want to make sure our partners kind of can learn how to take advantage of this continuous content flow, how to pull it in. We released X Monthly Studios. So Shannon, you're going to be like highlighted on this page about your BC capabilities. We have our secret agent briefing playlist, as well as our marketing mix playlist, as well as all the other aspects of what we're trying to work with our partners. So we've been pulling together a lot of these resources. We'll be working with directions on helping bring this all to market. So glad to have you part of that little plan. Having you involved early, I feel blessed. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Jeff. Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Um,
I was trying to remember, but I think about 7 years ago that you and I were in cahoots in Las Vegas, the first time we met. So
uh,
I'll never forget that moment. So now we get to return to Vegas and that's very exciting. So
we went bowling, didn't we?
we did go bowling. We did go bowling. Yep. Yep. We had a good time.
So what we're doing here, I did this with Go ERP Cloud before Shannon. We created a demand generation system for partners. At our height, we had 20,000 web visitors a month and 500 submissions. We're just getting started. We're going to do this again, and we're going to have control of it and partnering with people like you. We've released our agent programs. We've actually released our pricing. A lot of this is built on trust. And if you're part of our ecosystem, we're giving a lot. It's $0 to be a part of this thing. For anyone that wants to be an agent, wants to be part of our program, really establish yourself, build your buy buttons. We have programs for agents as well as their companies. All these programs, they come with a tremendous amount of benefits. They come with services. They come with easy ways for you to engage. As a founding member, we're waiving our discounts. So you have until March 31st, or we're waiving our activation fee. We have intense focus. We build out buy buttons. Shannon's are set up. We'll continue to tweak those as we go through. We'll be promoting X services. There's lots of benefits that you get as a singular agent. You can do additional posts. You can make more buy buttons. You can make your events. We're bringing the ecosystem together. One thing that you mentioned on this call that you may or may not be aware of, but we're here to help with sales and marketing support for our ecosystem. One of the most exciting pieces is the Teams integration. We develop a team, we give a private workspace, and we go to market with our partners, and we're sitting there on Teams to help answer your questions. And we've implemented the chat bot from Teams to help make sure we don't lose anything here. These are all part of the Microsoft 365 stack. There's integration and collaboration, and with trust, a small team can run circles around people. And I'm thankful to be able to work with highly qualified people. I have trust in establishing relationships, introducing Shannon. Shannon's a great resource, Dynamics MVP, leader in this ecosystem. So we're bringing in agents like this to try to collaborate and provide some great guidance. One question I do have to ask you, Shannon, being that you are, involved with these programs, release waves coming. What are you most excited about with this next release just coming out in April?
Um, So they haven't had the official launch event yet, so I don't know what I can and can't share. Because I know things that are coming before they're coming. I think we'll see a lot more AI agents. I think the sales order agent, that's going to be part of this next release, like general availability. So that'll be good. They are actually making a lot of changes to manufacturing in this next release, which has not happened since I started working with BC. So they're actually starting to work on manufacturing features, which I think will be great for our manufacturing clients. A lot of reporting, a lot more reporting. Reporting has been a huge initiative. Kenny P over at Microsoft, he works on all of those reporting initiatives. So we're getting more out of the box Power BI reports that are just working. Again, it's another cross sell for partners because Business Central has out of the box Power BI reports. So you can sell that Power BI licensing that they'll need to consume those reports. And yeah, we have a lot of new features coming. That team is working so hard all the time. And I'm excited to see it. I know the BC launch event, they're recording it now. So for those of you who don't know, Microsoft has a BC launch event, usually happens right around the time the new release is coming, right before then. And they actually break down each of the new features. So they actually do a video, they show you how to use it. They walk through what it's going to do. And so because there are so many now, they actually do these videos on recording. And then you can just choose which topics you care about and you can go watch it. So it's really great. It's better than just, basic release notes.
Nice. Yeah, I've been following that event. Was it aka.ms/BCLE?
BCLE. Yeah, BC
Yeah.
Launchman. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's lots of good links there. It was funny. Oh my gosh. I'm like one of those few people that like review everything.
Mm-hmm.
And last year at Directions, I got to meet, one of the presenters in the elevator. I was like, oh my gosh, it's you. And it really brings, the massive Microsoft behemoth to a personal level. Um,
I am very blessed because I know many of them very personally, some as good friends, and that has been one of the coolest things about being an MVP the last 5 years, and hopefully renewed again this year. But being able to work with that team, know their names, know that they have families, know that they have kids, where are they from, what are they working on, and I will say this about the BC team: they are so passionate about what they do. Like they truly care and they're like, hey, is this good? Should we do this? What do you think the customers will think? You don't always see that with software engineers or program managers. They're just like, hey, we're throwing this out there and hopefully someone loves it. Instead, they're like, hey, what can make this better? And I think it's even better that the MVPs that are on these calls are going, yeah, like this is great. This will be fantastic. Or no, maybe you need to think about it this way, and maybe the customers aren't going to really like that. And so it's a very open engagement conversation. But people don't know this. You see MVPs speaking at events and doing all this stuff, but we are on regular cadence calls with Microsoft, especially around these new releases. So we see things before they come out. We give product feedback. Sometimes we're doing testing, and all of that we can't share with any customer about what's happening. But it is cool. And all of the BC MVPs this summer will be out in Denmark for 2 days with Microsoft on site, and that's going to be a really cool event. I'm sure lots of social media posts about that one, but we're going to go work with them this summer. And yeah, it's a lot of work, to get a new release out and to do all the testing and to make sure the customers are going to like it. But I will say this, I mean, you can't find a better team than this program team. They're just great. And they do care about the customers, which I think is huge. I've worked with other softwares where even when I worked with GP, you would call and say, hey, this isn't great. And they're like, okay, put your complaint in with everybody else. We can't really do much. And now they're kind of like, oh, maybe we should think about this because BC has blown up. I mean, I don't know if there's been a published number since last fall, but last fall they said 40,000 customers. That's more than NetSuite's published number. And I would guarantee you we're around 50 already. I mean, I would not be shocked by that. So 50,000 customers, that's not users, on this product. You have to keep making it great.
It's so funny you mentioned that number because I think it's funny, right? Um, Coincidence. So I just heard a NetSuite commercial, 41. They actually shared that on some type of advertisement. So I heard that from NetSuite. So they want that 1%, right? That one extra, not 1%, but one extra. So that's
Yeah, but
encouraging
our
to
number
hear
is
that
like
there's what?
almost a year old, I have a feeling. So yeah, I
That's
can
like
guarantee you we have
25%
more.
almost, right? Like
Well, I
bam,
did a
bam.
blog post on this, like right when BC started, because I was doing an annual blog post because they were coming out with these numbers and the growth rate was like 150%. So I
Okay.
think one year it was close to 200%. So I think the last time I calculated it, it was still around like 90 to 100%. So it's rapidly growing because you have worldwide customers, right? This isn't
Yeah.
just, I feel like NetSuite is not very popular in Europe and other places as it is in the US.
Mhm.
But we've got a product that is out in Asia, it's out in South America, it's out in Australia and Europe. And so you've got a lot more interest and a lot more partners. There's no way I'd think that NetSuite can keep up with Microsoft's growth on this product.
So we're working on an arrangement right now with a global partner. I have a unique background. X Monthly has a unique background. I grew up abroad, right? So Singapore, Belgium, Chile. So I still have like friends in those areas. So one of the things that we're doing is helping establish international partner relations. So we have our go-to-market partner. We're able to do CSP licensing in 11 of the 15 major CSP regions, as well as additional auxiliary partners for the other ones that we're not doing. So we're making some announcements around that. That really helps with agents that have deals in different areas. We can help collaborate on that. So that's something to be cognizant of. We did talk about the teams engagement. You get us on there. A couple other things, the 41, right? Back to that. Our founding agent promo is 41% off of our, annual cost month to month. The reason why that one is important, it's that additional effort, right? You're getting a 40% discount with BC. We're giving that one extra point just to show that extra effort, make this real. So we're thankful for everyone there on that. Next thing, I'm not going to hit on this too hard. If there's questions, let us know. A couple things I just want to tie out quickly. We're offering all kinds of services. There's lots of ways. There's different discounts available. But what I wanted to kind of bring in, we work with a number of different groups, a number of different organizations, and we understand that people don't want to be like, hey, take my money, right? You work hard for this stuff, right? So we do know that there are opportunities for partners to engage. We're working through the Microsoft Co-op and marketing funding option. So if you've had CSP revenue that you accrued last year from July to December, check Partner Center, see if you have any co-op dollars available. We're ready to kind of jump in and help partners take advantage of our launch promo being part of our founding agent program. So that's something that's huge for partners. Take a look. Love to have everyone take advantage of that by March 31st, if possible. Directions, we're going all out, what we're able to do. So Shannon, I'm excited to kind of see you there. I might have a special hat for you. Um,
Ooh, I like
you know,
special hats.
we're getting our gear available, so excited. So look, we're open to work with partners. I'm looking forward to bringing maybe your BC apps for further distribution, right? Trying to connect those dots. So look, we want to work with partners. We've been doing this for a long time. We've set the table. We want to work with great people, trusted people, and we'll move quickly. We market early. We provide some insights why you want to get involved, let's say with Business Central and Shannon and our other partners that are on here. That's good. And look, we do it on a monthly basis. We're growth on repeat. It's an easy way for people to get engaged. So final message, Shannon. There's so many great shows coming up, worldly events. You talked about your MVP summit in Denmark later this year. We've got directions. You're at this International Association event right now in Texas. What do you think's the best event, or what's the event that has not been listed that you think you're going to be participating with this year?
Oh gosh, I have so many events between now and in the middle of June. So I'm all off. I'm at MVP Summit. So the actual Microsoft MVP Summit, that's in a week and a half. So all the MVPs will be in Seattle with Microsoft again, learning about all the cool stuff that's coming out with the whole Microsoft stack. And then right after that, I have directions with you in Vegas. And then the end of the month in April, I'm actually going over to Hamburg, Germany. I'm going to dye my hair some fun color for Color Cloud. So I'm on the Color Cloud programming committee, excited to be over there with that team and presenting a workshop. I'm actually doing a workshop over there for customer engagement and Power Platform people to learn BC, especially when they're doing integration. So that'll be exciting. And then from that, we are going to be over at Dynamics Con
Oh
in
yeah,
Chicago. So that's also
sweet.
exciting. Yeah, I have 2 sessions there. Oh, 3 sessions, I think, actually, at Dynamics Con. And we're talking about maybe hosting an after hours party somewhere off campus at Dynamics Con. So more details on
Excellent.
that. And then to finish it out, I will be in Slovenia at Dynamics Minds, which is my nearest, dearest conference to my heart. And excited to be over there in Slovenia with the Business Central team and presenting, I think, 4 sessions. So yeah, busy, busy, busy Q2.
Well, I appreciate you so much for spending a few minutes here with us today.
Absolutely.
Um, you'll be highlighted on our website. You'll actually be on the Secret Agent briefing playlist. So again, we're building out our catalog of solutions and experts and people Thank you so much, everyone, for attending today's session and looking forward to helping bring your X to market. Shannon, I look forward to seeing you next month. We're less than 30 days away, so that's amazing. We'll talk soon.
You too. Bye, Jeff.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.